Hi, welcome back. I'm Joe. This is the ultimate love letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. I don't know who needs to hear this, but we all do. Do not give up too soon. And when I mean too soon, I actually mean do not give up, period. This is going to be just a simple, quick reminder in case it applies to a situation that you find yourself in. I want to draw your attention, and yes, your intention to the narrative of any of the greats, the super achievers in life, the ones that we look to, that we want to become similar to, those ones that have achieved the level of success, the level of health, the level of peace that we aspire to. What are these people saying? How they achieved it? That is your recipe. And they are all saying actually the same thing. They simply refuse to give up. I was having this conversation with a Lyft driver yesterday, and we were just speaking about how the difference between the ones that make it and the ones that don't are the ones that made it simply never gave up. The ones that don't did. At some point, they let go on their journey. And I know it may seem like you're in a roadblock. I know that perhaps you're creating something and you have in your mind how you envision it will go. You understand the people you want to work with. Perhaps you're already working with those people. Perhaps you've pitched your idea and perhaps you've been rejected. What I find that happens, in my own life is that we usually accept that as a wall, a no. We accept that one individual that said, no, they're going to pass on the idea. No, they are unable to work with us. No to the partnership. No to the collaboration. And we think of it as a failure. We think of it as, okay, well, then this is where the journey ends. Or perhaps you're thinking this is not where the journey ends, but this is where my journey ends with this person. And perhaps we've walked away disappointed. I want to encourage you, follow through completely with that person, with those group of people. Just because you're met with a person who perhaps you wanted to work with and this person has rejected you doesn't mean that's a completely closed door. It doesn't mean necessarily to turn around and begin looking in another direction. Perhaps it just means that that's a no right now. Perhaps you don't let the friendship or the connection go. Perhaps you continue to remain in contact, remain open. We never know how a resource, a person, a connection will come back full circle if we let it. I've heard someone speak that says, if you knew your yes would come after 1,000 no's, how quickly would you fail forward? How quickly would you want to get through the no's? I don't know about you, but I would every day, all day be seeking out, pitching out my idea so that I can get those no's, because I know at the end of this journey, there will be a yes. I have a friend who wanted to work with an individual and they became friends and they hung out for a few months. And as soon as the idea was pitched to this individual, my friend let them go. The person said no. And she let them go. She walked away, never to hang with them again. And I just thought, oh my goodness, I know on the outside looking in that it could have served still an opportunity. Yes, that person said no, but you didn't understand who you would possibly meet by way of that person. Yeah, that person was a no-go. But understand who orchestrated it. That's God. God is saying this is not your person. He didn't necessarily say that the person behind this person wouldn't be your person. The person that you're going to meet 3 months from now through this person would be your person. But because we become so fixated on the idea and the vision on how it must go, if we're met with a block that doesn't fit that vision, we're immediately taking the rejection to heart. We're turning around. We're going back to the drawing board. Instead of saying and remaining in alignment with, okay, well, I'm here now. I have this beautiful connection. Let me continue to live in integrity. Let me continue to work with this person and see what God will bring by way of these situations, by way of this circumstance. It doesn't mean to tear it all down and go the other way. I mean, that's just your thinking mind. I mean, if it is, right? If God tells you to shoot it down and don't follow up and turn the other way, then yes, you follow that guidance. But what I find is happening, or just within my own life and those that have brought their experience to my attention, it's like, no, you received a no from one person. And so you totally cut off this entire group of resources because this one person said no. Like, where is our integrity? And there's another thing. We got to ask ourselves, where is our intention? Are we using the individuals for something, some personal gain? Is that why we've connected with them? Well, if that's the sole reason, just to use them so that we can advance, then I can tell you now, it will not work. It will not work even in the long haul, because your intention is not rooted in purity. Your intention is to achieve this thing only, and perhaps you're discounting the friendship. Perhaps you're discounting just getting to know an individual. I've heard Ice-T speak about this, and I'll never forget it. He said, he has been around billionaires, most of his career. And he says, and he actually wonders, why do you want to be around me? That's what he's thinking to himself. But these people just genuinely want to be around him. They enjoy the company. And he says, and what I've learned is never get around these individuals and start pitching your idea. Just get to know the individuals. Engage with them genuinely. Bring value to the conversation. Be your authentic self. He said, and I tell you what will happen is there will come a point where these people will turn and look at you after a while and say, what you got going on? There is your in. Where can we just be ourselves? In business, and I know this, I've learned this in business, you're really selling yourself. I know you're thinking you're selling this product. I know you're thinking you're selling your service. But the truth is, people will buy anything from you if they wholeheartedly fuck with you. If they just love who you are, the character, the intention you have, the integrity that you come with, the genuine soul that you're aligned with. They will buy whatever it is you're selling. Can you be that first? And secondly, can we not accept the no's as it's time for me to spin a block and look in another completely direction? No, follow these friendships through. Follow these connections through. Remain in integrity. You're not here to use people for their services, their connections, their platforms. You're here because you genuinely care about each other, because you find value in the connection. That's it. And so when your idea, your creative art is rejected, just know, okay, onward, not my person. God says it's not my person. When God says it's your person, it is your person. So if you're going to take anything personal, you take it up with God. God, why is that not my person? I saw it in my head that would be my partner. That would be the one I collaborated with. Why is it not? God will reveal the truth. Often we're so premature. We think this vision that we have in our head, I'm here to tell you, it's never going to map out exactly the way we see it in our head. And if we are not flexible with the way that God wants to unfold your becoming, then we will take everything as rejection. But the thing is, the blockages, the no's, are meant to guide you to the yes. So for instance, if you have a no coming from the left, then God is saying, okay, it's time to go right. If you have a no coming straight ahead, God is saying, okay, go around. If you have a no coming to the right of you, then God is saying, okay, spin left. That's how you're guiding. Do you understand? It's guiding. It's a path. It's a road map to your yes. It's a road map to the winning strategy. So many people, most people, far too many people give up on their dreams far too soon. I knew this magician. I didn't know him. I was someplace and the magician came out, young, beautiful soul, came out and gave these fantastic card tricks. Fantastic. And we thought, wow, where are you working? Where is your Instagram? Like, are you in the magic castle? Like, you must be doing something profound with this magic. And immediately he says, no, I gave up. It's too hard. I'm not going to break in. And I'm thinking, this man is saturated in such talent. Like, there is no way that he would not be successful if he just continued down this path. And yes, that might mean that we might need to work a job to support ourselves as we're becoming, but that's okay. How bad do we want it? And here this kid was like in his 20s. You're giving up in your 20s? Do you know what a long road you have? You're just getting started and you've given up on yourself. The only difference between the ones that make it and the ones that don't is the ones that made it did not give up. I know we want to think they were more special than us. I know we want to think they had the advantages we didn't. I know we want to think they had God's anointing and we don't. But none of that is true. If God has put that passion, that gift that you're meant to give to the world on your heart, it is meant to become a reality. Doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. Doesn't mean you're not going to be met with no's. You will absolutely be met with rejection. Absolutely. Because if it was that easy, everyone would have it. But the difference between you and them is you're not going to give up. You're going to keep going. You're going to take the no's with grace, knowing that, okay, that's one more no closer to my yes. Onward. Where can I go find another rejection so I can get closer and closer to my green light, to my winning strategy? If you are giving up on yourself, then you are destined to never see the dream come to reality. Then perhaps you are settling for a life less than. Perhaps you're settling for mediocrity. But you were never meant to be mediocre. You were meant to be great. You were meant to change the world. How bad do you want it? Make a vow to yourself right now. You are not going to give up. Make a vow right now that you will find a way. And finding the way is just being guided by God. Going where God says go. Turn when God says turn. Climb that mountain when God says climb. Jump when He says jump. That's the way. That's the way to everything you want. Now, make the decision today that you won't give up. And I know God is promising you victory if you don't. Thank you for joining this convo. Just wanted to give a quick reminder to all of us because we all need to hear it. We all need to be reminded of what we are able to achieve. when we stay the course, when we are persistent, when we are consistent, and when we vow to never give up. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll chat again soon. Bye for now.